particularly. Right. Recording done, in theory. Okay, can you ask that again, pretty please?
In the old leadership manuals, people did educationals, successful leadership and so on, successful club. Are there similar projects in the projects in Pathways?
I don't think there are ones you can dip into in quite the same way, where you can just pull up something from the Successful Club and Better Speaker series. There are some educational style speeches, but I'd really need to look through the full project list.
Okay, yeah, I could do that anyway.
Interestingly, let's just take a little look at that. So if I go tutorials and resources, okay. I'm hoping you're seeing my screen here, yeah?
Yes, I can.
Okay, project descriptions, English. What am I looking for? I'm looking for a document called... No, I can't remember the name of it. Let me have a little butchers here. Nope. Pathways. I'm just seeing if I've got the overall. No, I don't. Okay, right. I won't go down this road then. There's a document. Did I share that with you, which had a description of every project?
Yeah, I have got that somewhere.
Which is available, yeah. So it has a description of all 59 projects.
Okay. So
I have to confess, I haven't been through all of them.
No, okay.
But this, I mean, obviously go through the tutorials and resources and run through all these. You can get them here. It's a little bit long-winded, whereas that document has them all collected into a single PDF.
Yeah, I should go through that then, really.
Yeah, so that's as best I can answer that question. There's not a direct sort of correlation to the Better Club, Better Speakers.
I'll have a look through it then.
Yeah.
Okay.
Any other questions you had?
No, not really. Everybody seems to... There's not a huge take-up. I mean, a few people have done a icebreaker.
Yep. Yeah.
But... quite a lot. Well, I went to Farnham last week, and quite a lot of them just hadn't, done anything further.
Yeah.
How about you?
Maidenhead, someone did their Pathways icebreaker the other day at our last meeting. There's probably, well, actually, let's find out. So I'm a general member. What I wanted to do actually is go through giving feedback in Pathways.
Okay. Oh, yeah, that's what came up, and I posted it, but you can't do it. It's to give feedback to a member of another club.
Yeah, you can't give feedback to another club. You can only interact with people in your own club in Basecamp.
Yeah, shame.
So yeah, I mean, it is deliberately set up that way, and I think there's good reasons for it. But by the same token, there's a little bit of a limitation, I guess. You can't sort of give someone a guest login to your club.
Can you do that?
No.
No. Okay.
No, not unless you're actually a member. So there's a couple of aspects to giving feedback, and they ran through this on one of the recent guides webinars. One is if you've given a speech, if you then click through the My Feedback portal. So the My Feedback takes you to your own feedback and feedback you give to other people.
Yeah.
What you can do is, so this is me, My Feedback. If you've given a speech, say you've, given your icebreaker, you can say, please give me feedback on my speech. And you can then click on that and you can search for specific users.
Oh, okay.
And I know Jan in my club has signed up for Pathways, so I could go for specific people. Or I can go here, who would you like to see request responses? Managers or everyone. So managers is, any reference to managers is just the Basecamp managers. So that's the VP, right. Secretary, President. Or everyone will be everyone in your club.
Yeah.
So responses will be visible too. So if someone, my understanding is if you leave this blank, that will just go to everyone. It will be a general, oh wait, no, sorry. So what I do here is if you know your club number, you can put your club number in. Let's see how this works. Drat. Try this. Right, there we go. Okay, so rather than go for a specific person, I can select Maidenhead Speakers Club. This message will then go to, or the request for feedback will then go to everyone in my club. And I can say, can you give me feedback? I can then choose to make the responses visible only to me. So, it would just be a, like they've handed me a slip of paper, or I could make them visible to public. Then it become more like a public discussion.
Okay.
So, it might be, generally I would say you probably just want it to be just feedback to me, then it's more sort of like a virtual slip of paper. But if you've done a discussion speech, or maybe you're on the committee, you've done a speech about, a direction the club is taking and you want to start a little forum, you could do that here. So you can add an attachment as well if you want to provide further information. You then post that, and that will then go out into other people's base camps. I won't do that because I haven't done speech yet, but that's a way you can directly request feedback, and you can so you can go to a specific person, people, or the whole club. There you go. Now, Basecamp profile, transcript. Let's just flick through these. So I'm still in the my feedback section. Yeah, I'll skip over this. Let's go to ePortfolio. Right. So here's me. Documents and badges. So as yet, I haven't received any badges. That's a pity. Probably because I haven't done any speeches yet. We've only had one meeting in the club since Pathways rolled out.
Turning up.
Well, I thought you got a badge actually when you started your path.
Okay.
But apparently not. So no, you don't get a badge for turning up. We're not quite at that level yet. So I go back to my ePortfolio. You view all feedback requests. Okay, so none of those. Now, mine's gone blank. Cheryl. Okay, so Cheryl in my club did her Pathways icebreaker at our last meeting. So all I do is start typing her name, and because she's signed into Basecamp, it's only people who've registered in Pathways will show up like this. Yeah. So there you go. So this is Cheryl's public profile. Okay. Yeah. So if I then go from here, if I go to feedback, request and share feedback with members of your home club. So I can then say to Cheryl, how are we spelling icebreaker? One word or two? I've always been curious about that. I should look that up. Oops.
I'd say one. I don't know.
Oh, well, I'm committed now. I'll say these things because it was a very enjoyable little speech, actually. Now, who would you like to see the feedback? So I can post this publicly so everyone in the club can see it. If I say the managers, that will just be the Basecamp managers. Or I can say just Cheryl. Okay, so I'll send that just to Cheryl. However, I'll do one other thing. I can add an attachment. So if you wanted to do some written feedback or attach a feedback document if you were the evaluator, for example, this would be another way to do it. But I can go to this little icon here and I can give a badge. So these are the badges. During the rollout, we talked about giving badges to your club members.
Yep.
This is they. So these are the 5 badges you can give any other member of your club. Collaborative, courageous, exceptional, innovative, inspirational. So I thought Cheryl, as a first icebreaker, has been innovative. Our first pathways. It was a very interesting speech, I thought. So I've made my comment. I've added a badge. I haven't added an attachment, and I will post that. Boom. There we go. That's now gone to Cheryl. So when she goes into Basecamp and checks her feedback, that will then be sitting there.
Excellent.
And that is how you do the virtual slips in Basecamp.
Right.
And that's how we give each other badges. Done.
Great.
Yeah, and as I said, you can find any member of your club or the club itself in the search bar. So I will go home again. And actually, well, while we're in feedback, we'll go back to here. So this is I'm now back in my own profile. So the ePortfolio, it's where I'll find any badges I've been given. And documents. So I talked about being able to upload evaluations.
Yeah.
So this is the place to do that. Now the ePortfolio, it's not super flexible, but this is how it's set up. So by default, and in fact, by design and permanently, there are 6 folders in the ePortfolio. The idea being, whichever level you're on, you can upload your documents into here. So if I've done a project in level 1, you can add a file, and then you can either drag and drop. That might depend a little bit on the browser, particularly what you're using, or select a file and go into your documents and upload into there. And in fact, I'll tell you what, I'll find something innocuous to upload. Oh, that's loud.
Sorry.
That's really quite loud.
Hi, Martin. I'm on a conference call. Can I call you back? Okay, see you. Bye. Okay, sorry.
Okay. So I'll tell you what, I'll upload a PDF file. There we are. So I can view that there. That will happily sit there forever. It's only accessible to me. If at any point I get tired of it, I can open it or I can delete it. So that's all you can do. You can't edit a document that's in your ePortfolio. If you want to edit something, like a Word document or whatever you've saved, you'll need to open it, download it, edit it locally on your machine, and then upload it again.
Okay.
So otherwise, if I'm bored with that, I can just delete it. Am I sure? Yes, I am. Off it pops. Done. If I go back, my documents. So obviously you can go through, it's set up with each level and a general My Documents folder. What you can't do is edit these. So you are unable to rename the folders, nor can you add new folders. They've kept it that way, I think, for the sake of simplicity.
Yeah, okay.
In terms of...
Redo it and then delete the original and enter another one.
Yeah. Yeah, if you want to edit something. In terms of uploading video, so if you videoed your speech, you can in theory upload it here. However, the size limit for a single file is 20 meg.
Right.
Which isn't particularly big for a video file. You can compress it right down. I'd recommend using a free program called Handbrake, or there's other things built into Windows, but 20 meg isn't a particularly big video file, but if you compress it right down, you could in theory do that. So the other thing you can put in Basecamp profile, all about me. So there's my details. Notice it has roles here. So I can add in photos, which I haven't done. One of these days I'll put a photo on. If you want to do any of these things, obviously you can put the descriptions here. Pathways mentor, no. Oh yeah, that's mentoring, not guiding. So if you go into the top right here, into my account, if you have done a role, like you were Toastmaster, grammarian, general evaluator, this is a place to add it.
Oh, that's good, because that was another question that I had. Were any of the projects the roles, which they're not really, are they?
A couple of the projects do require a role, and to complete level 3, you need to have been a Toastmaster, an evaluator, and a table topics master. That's required to complete level by the time you complete level 3.
So if you do one of those now and enter it in here, that will count when you get to level 3?
That will count, yes. So you can do that anytime.
That's good.
And it's a funny one, because really you have to do a speech evaluation as part of level 1.
Yeah.
So it is a little bit odd that that's a level 3 requirement, but there you go. That's one of those things. So yeah, all you do, if you've been, say, a grammarian, just select the date you were the grammarian. It will obviously it only remembers the last time you did that role. So, and that is, I believe this is available to the Basecamp managers as well. So you can look in and say, Marlene was an evaluator in April. She was a timer last July, and she was a Toastmaster 3 years ago. So time she was Toastmaster again.
Okay.
But it's optional to put those in there, but it's a good idea, and it gets track of it for yourself, and it helps the Basecamp manager.
And you'd put those in there yourself, not the
Basecamp
manager.
Yeah, the Basecamp manager, Basecamp manager doesn't have the ability to change these.
No, okay.
I'll tell you what, I haven't dug into the preferences here. I'm curious about this. And that's exactly what I was looking at. Okay, good. There you go. And I can add a profile picture there if I so choose. There's not much more to add there, I think. Fantastic. So there's lots of lovely little things in Basecamp. Probably one of the as yet underutilized is this, tutorials and resources, which you looked in before. So there's actually quite a lot of tutorials in here. So there's evaluation resources, and again, if we hack them down by English, here are the evaluation guides for every single project. So anything you're called on to evaluate, there we are. The icebreaker, right. Manage change, manage online meetings. So if someone's doing that project, I've been asked to evaluate them, I can click on that. Launch. And there it is, evaluation form. Right, I need to share a different window. How do I do that? Damn it, I worked this out last time I was on Zoom. I'll do that. Welcome back. Share screen, that one. Right. Evaluation form, manage online meetings. There we are. And however you do that in your browser, if I press the download button, that will then download locally. I can save that, print it, email it, or do whatever to my heart's content.
Okay.
Okie dokie. And if I come back here, I'll then see that in my education. So this is now flick back to my education transcript. That manage online meetings that I've just marked is now going to sit there, slightly clog up my transcript. So I can launch it again, or I can mark it complete. And that'll be the end of it. It doesn't delete it, it just archives it off.
Okay.
And I can always go back and find that again in exactly the same way. Or if I go here, at the moment it's showing me things that are active. But if I go to things that are completed, there we go. So this is where you can find projects that you've done or projects that you've looked at or anything that you've looked at before. I wonder if I've archived anything. The master Q&A log, there you go. So best to keep that on active. If you're wondering where everything's gone, it could be because you haven't selected active here.
Okay.
Good. Right. Well, there's our tour of Basecamp.
Great.
Anything else you'd like to know?
Not at the moment. I think it's not until you actually, go in and start using it, and then you think, oh, okay, I do this. How do I do that?
Yeah. Yeah, I know. There's a few little tips and tricks. The three little dots there, cunningly hidden, really could use a bigger button. But that is where, am I sharing this? I'm assuming I'm sharing this screen.
Yeah.
You can see where the arrow is.
It's under our pictures.
Really? Okay. Okay, can you see my cursor at the moment?
I can. It's just, but it's under your photo or your video of you.
Oh, right. There, you can minimize that. Oh, there you go. There should be just above that. If you hover over that picture, there should be some
I've
progressively
hidden that,
smaller buttons. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So, I see. Yeah.
Yeah. So if you click on those three little dots on the options button, you can run off a transcript of yourself. But importantly, that's where they've hidden the add external training. So if you're doing a project outside of your club and you want to let your VPE know, that is the place.
Okay.
And that's where I think I may have gone over this before. I can't recall now, but that's description of your assignment, what you're doing, where you're doing it, and the path and the project. And that will then send a note to the Basecamp manager to say that you're doing something outside of your club, and they can acknowledge that. A little bit cunningly hidden, but there it is. Right. I think that about winds us up.
Okay.
This session. Unless you have any further questions.
Are you on record?
Yes.
Do you want to finish record, and I just want to have a chat after?
Yep.
Okay.
Okay. I will stop that and stop recording, and we're done.